Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, General Hospital Diaries. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Today on General Hospital, Liz returns home to an unexpected surprise. Emma earns praise from her professor, and Trina decides to support Kai in his latest endeavor. Over by the boathouse, Gio is practicing his violin when Brooklyn shows up. She tells him she was hoping he'd agree to perform in the upcoming nurses' ball, which she's co-producing with Lucy. Gio isn't sure a violin solo is the right fit, joking that classical music can be a bit of a snooze for some. Brooklyn assures him that with her producing, it'll be anything but boring. Gio accepts her offer and is genuinely excited to collaborate with her. At the Quartermain house, Chase walks in on Lois mid-call, as she convinces a friend to step in for lighting at the nurses' ball since Lucy's usual tech isn't available. Chase tells Lois he's happy she's back, which catches her off guard. She figured he might still hold a grudge. Chase admits that in the beginning, he did try to imagine how he'd feel if he were in Dan's shoes, wanting to know the truth about his child. Still, he says this is Brooklyn's story to tell, and he'll respect her decision not to share it with Dante. Lois knows the baby's been on everyone's mind, but she emphasizes that Brooklyn has always prioritized her child's well-being. Chase agrees it can't be easy for Lois either, knowing she has a grandchild she hasn't met. Lois says she chooses to believe her grandchild is safe, healthy, and loved, and that gives her peace. Later, Lois spots Gio playing on the docks and is surprised to hear him perform something more contemporary. Gio shares that he's agreed to play at the nurses' ball and that Brooklyn will be producing his performance. Lois is thrilled to hear they're working together. Gio recalls how his mom always encouraged collaboration as a path to becoming a stronger artist. He says he still feels her guidance in moments like this. Back at the house, Brooklyn finds Chase in the living room and asks what song he's planning for the nurses' ball. Chase isn't sure he'll be performing, but if he does, he jokes he'll need a very involved producer. Brooklyn happily accepts the challenge, and they seal it with a kiss. At the hospital, Rick is on the phone with Ava, who's waiting at the art gallery to meet Alexis. Just then, Dante walks in urgently and asks if Rick has a moment. Rick hangs up the call. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Molly thanks Christina for agreeing to visit their dad with her and assures her there's no pressure to come inside. Christina wants to. She's ready to let go of the past and move forward. The sisters enter the room just as Dante finishes up his conversation with Rick. Dante then asks to speak with Christina privately, and the two step outside. In the hall, Dante asks how their dad is doing. Christina says he's doing well and hasn't mentioned delaying his surgery. Christina then asks Dante why he's looking into Rick's accident. He clarifies that he isn't investigating, he's just here to check on his uncle. Rick is family, and it's something his mom would want him to do. Dante also hopes this accident might be a turning point for Rick, maybe even help ease some of the tension he's been carrying. Christina wonders if it's really possible to move forward after everything that's happened. Dante believes it is. He brings up his own experience with the WSB and the PTSD he's faced as proof that healing can happen. He sees the effort Christina is putting in to grow from her past and tells her he's proud of her. Christina says she refuses to let her past define her anymore. Back in Rick's room, Molly asks what Dante wanted. Rick says he just came by to check in, though he initially thought Dante might be looking into the crash. Molly reassures him it was an accident and there's nothing suspicious to investigate. Rick muses that maybe he and Dante can finally get to know one another better. Molly says it would be a good thing if something positive came out of this ordeal. Rick wonders if she's referring to her relationship with Christina. Molly admits that Christina apologized and owned up to her mistakes. She explains how Christina was a source of strength while they waited for Rick to wake up. Though her sister isn't perfect, Molly believes this time is different. They both understand now how much they could lose. Rick relates, saying he knows what it feels like to be distant from a sibling. Molly says that with Sam gone, she and Christina need each other more than ever. At the gallery, Trina drops by, and Ava notes that she's not scheduled to work today. Trina says she needs to talk and opens up about Kay's decision to undergo a high-risk surgery. He's determined to go through with it and wants her support, but she believes it's the wrong move. Sometimes the best support you can offer is respecting someone's choice, even when you don't agree. Over at Elizabeth's house, Lucky wheels her in, where Lulu, Laura, and Aiden are waiting to welcome her home. Elizabeth thanks everyone. Lulu says they've set up a bedroom for her on the first floor, and Aiden has been cooking up a storm. Just then, Amy bursts in, announcing she's officially reporting for duty. Amy explains that she'll be helping Liz 8 hours a day and already has timers set for her medications and meals. She says they'll be tossing any food that causes inflammation, and Liz will need to stay extra hydrated, 3 gallons of water a day. Lulu takes Amy to see the setup downstairs. Laura thinks Liz is in good hands, though Aiden and Lucky both quietly agree that Amy might be a little too dedicated. In the kitchen, Lulu talks to Lucky, who's been assigned to remove all the inflammatory foods. He admits he's not sure where to start, and Lulu teases, with the fridge or with Liz? She points out how he and Liz have been spending a lot of time together. And while this accident changed things, it's also brought them closer. Lucky admits he was hoping they'd reconnect when they were in New York, just not under these circumstances. Back in the living room, Laura tells Liz how happy she is to see her and Lucky reconnecting. Liz says having Laura and Lulu around means the world to her. It reminds her that she has a family she can depend on. Laura reassures her that she always will. Laura heads into the kitchen to make tea, which Lulu brings out to Liz. Laura checks in on Lucky and doesn't buy it when he says he's fine. She suspects this has to do with Liz. Laura tells him that he and Liz have always shared a deep bond, and if there's something he needs to say, he should just say it. She promises that's the only advice she'll give, no more meddling. Lulu and Aiden sit with Liz, and Aiden vents about Amy being a bit of a control freak. Liz reassures him it's only for a few weeks, and reminds him they can get through anything together. Later, Aiden sets up a game for everyone to play, but Amy steps in and says it's time for Liz to rest. Laura also mentions she has to head out for a press conference, so they'll play another time. After Laura leaves, Aiden pleads with Lulu not to leave them alone with that woman. Lulu stays positive and says she's sure everything will work out fine. Lucky heads out to the car to grab Elizabeth's book. She left it there and wants to read in bed since she's not feeling tired. Lulu follows after him. She admits she doesn't think Amy is a good match for Liz and doubts it'll work out. Lucky doesn't see another option, but Lulu says, there is, you. At the surf lodge, Emma finds Joss studying and working to catch up on schoolwork. Emma joins her, and Joss admits she's probably in for a few all-nighters. Emma says she's been there too, especially when she first transferred to PCU. Emma takes off for class, and Joss realizes she has to get to class as well. Meanwhile, Trina meets Kai at the lodge. He tells her that her mom doesn't support the surgery and thinks it's a long shot. But if there's even a chance he can get back in the game, he has to take it. He's going through with it. Trina admits she's not thrilled, but Kay says he has a good feeling, and it would mean the world if she stood by him. She promises she will, and he kisses her. He assures her that in the end, all of this will be worth it. Later, Joss and Emma return from class, and Emma can't believe Joss got into Dalton's class so late. She had to beg Joss to get off the wait list. Joss says Dalton is amazing, and that Emma clearly impressed him with how she spoke up in class. Joss says she thinks she made an impression too. Dalton walks in and says, "You certainly did." Dalton heads out, and Emma quips, "Guess I'll know what I'll be doing this summer." Joss reminds her she still has to compete against other applicants. Emma acknowledges that everyone is eager for this assistantship, but Dalton did single her out, so she's determined to prove she's the best fit for the role. Alexis arrives at the office to find Diane on the phone with a judge, trying to arrange care for Christina. Diane asks Alexis for the signed documents, but Alexis hesitates. She just can't go through with it. Diane insists this is the only way to protect Christina. She explains that this could give them a mental health defense should Christina face legal trouble. Alexis refuses to sign, arguing there's no point in protecting Christina if it ultimately breaks her spirit. Diane asks what's changed. Alexis explains that Christina and Molly are finally rebuilding their bond and truly need each other right now. Sending Christina away would destroy the fragile trust they're restoring. Alexis is convinced Christina would never forgive her for damaging her relationship with Molly. That their options are limited if they want to keep Christina out of legal jeopardy. Alexis thinks their best option is to stay quiet and shield Christina from further scrutiny. Just then, she gets a text from Ava reminding her not to be late. Diane admits Alexis' plan worries her. Covering Christina could have serious consequences for both of them. Still, Diane vows to do whatever she can to protect them if things escalate. Alexis assures her she understands what's at stake and sincerely thanks Diane for her help. Later, Alexis meets Ava at the gallery. She tells Ava she's getting what she wanted. The funds have been moved to a Swiss account and will be transferred to her in scheduled installments. Alexis adds that Ava should have her divorce settlement returned by July. But Ava makes it clear the deal has changed. She says her divorce settlement isn't all she's after. Those funds were already rightfully hers. Now, she wants compensation for Rick's emotional distress and for Christina's recent actions. She demands Alexis keep the payments coming. When Ava gets a confirmation text that the first installment has arrived, she adds a warning. Alexis had better keep Christina in line, or the cost of silence will rise significantly. Alexis storms out as Ava casually texts Rick a message filled with dollar signs. Ava and Rick spoke briefly on the phone as Ava waited for Alexis to arrive at the gallery with the money. Their call ended abruptly when Dante walked into Rick's room, which immediately unsettled Ava. She then heard footsteps approaching and assumed it was Alexis, but to her surprise, it was Trina. Sensing Trina had something on her mind, Ava invited her to sit down and talk. Ava was taken aback when Trina revealed that Drew had told Kai about an experimental surgery that might help him return to football. Kai is putting his health, or even his life, at serious risk, Trina said, clearly concerned. Ava assured her that Portia might still be able to reach Kai, but Trina didn't share her optimism. Ava then tried to lift her spirits, reminding her that there was still hope the surgery could be successful. In the end, Trina, you have to respect his right to make this decision for himself, Ava gently emphasized. Later, Trina met Kai at the surf lodge, where he confirmed he was going through with the procedure, despite Portia's strong concerns. After some emotional back and forth, Trina ultimately agreed to stand by his choice. Elsewhere, Molly spotted Christina walking through the hospital halls. Molly was moved when Christina said she wanted to visit Rick with her. I want to move past all the tension with your dad and Ava, Christina said. When they entered Rick's room, they were surprised to find Dante already there. Christina composed herself as Dante asked if they could speak privately in the hall. Out in the corridor, Dante and Christina briefly talked about Sunny's condition before Christina grew curious. What's a detective doing asking questions about a car crash? She asked. Dante explained he wasn't there in an official role, he was just checking in on his uncle. Back inside Rick's room, the father and daughter took a moment to reconnect. They shared light conversation, though Rick appeared a bit uneasy. Molly was happy Dante had come by, but Rick seemed more focused on the way the recent incident had drawn him and Christina closer. Later, Alexis arrived at the office and found Diane finishing a phone call regarding Christina's legal situation. Once Diane hung up, Alexis placed a folded set of commitment papers on the desk and quietly admitted she couldn't bring herself to sign them. Christina seriously harmed 2 people while trying to confront a third. "We may have no other option but to move forward with a formal commitment," Diane said. Diane once again explained that having Christina temporarily committed would allow her to later use a mental health defense if authorities ever discovered that Christina had tampered with Rick's car brakes. "I didn't sign it. I don't intend to. Delete it, shred it, burn it," Alexis said, referring to the legal documents. "What good would it do to protect my daughter if I destroy her in the process?" she asked. Alexis shared that she had a change of heart during a dinner with her daughters the night before. "I know that Christina needs the love and support of her family, and if I send her away, it will shatter her trust in me," Alexis said. She didn't want to be the reason Molly and Christina's bond was permanently damaged. "If I commit Christina, Molly will want to know why. If she finds out that Christina may have endangered her father, the relationship could be over, and then I lose what's left of my family," Alexis continued. Diane gently reminded her that the truth could come out through a formal investigation. "Wouldn't it be better if she heard it from you?" Alexis believed Diane the only way to manage the situation was to quietly move past it. Just then, she received a message from Ava reminding her not to be late. After putting her phone away, Diane cautioned Alexis about the risks of hiding Christina's actions. Still determined, Alexis went to Ava's gallery to inform her that Cassadine funds had been moved to a Swiss bank account. But Ava, not easily impressed, informed her that the cost of her silence had gone up. "My divorce settlement is a great start, but that's not all I want," Ava said with a cool edge. As Alexis turned to leave, Ava added a pointed warning. "Keep a leash on that daughter of yours, or the price for my silence just might skyrocket." Meanwhile, in the Q solarium, Chase and Lois reconnected. Chase told Lois he was happy she was back, which came as a relief. "Honestly, Chase, I never thought you'd want to see me again," Lois admitted. Chase confessed that Lois wasn't someone he could stay mad at for long. Lois took a moment to apologize for asking Brooklyn to keep certain things hidden, including the identity of her baby's father. Chase said he couldn't stay upset with Brooklyn for a choice she made when she was much younger and acknowledged that sharing the truth with Dante had been Brooklyn's decision, not his. Lois was grateful to hear that Chase respected Brooklyn's right to make her own choices. Lois confided in Chase about how Brooklyn had always prioritized her child above all else. However, she gently stretched the truth when she expressed confidence that the nuns had chosen the perfect adoptive parents for Brooklyn's son. "I choose to believe that my grandchild is healthy and loved," she said with quiet conviction. Brooklyn watched in admiration as Gio played his violin outside the Q-boat house. "You always give it everything you've got, even when it's just for the ducks," she teased with a warm smile. When Gio paused, she took the opportunity to ask for his help and invited him to perform at the nurses' ball. Gio hesitated, unsure that a violin solo would suit the event. "Classical music for the wrong audience can put people right to sleep," he quipped. After some gentle urging from Brooklyn, Gio agreed to participate. Later on, Brooklyn also persuaded Chase to perform. The show was beginning to come together. Lucky wheeled Elizabeth through her front door, and she was touched to find Aiden, Laura, and Lulu gathered to welcome her home. Liz smiled when she learned that Lucky had spent quality time with Aiden while she'd been hospitalized. She was caught off guard when Amy arrived, revealing she would be Liz's home nurse for 8 hours a day. Aiden quickly dubbed Amy, a lot to handle. Later, when Laura and Liz had a moment alone, Liz expressed how thankful she was for Lucky's help and presence. In the kitchen, Laura spoke with Lucky, sensing he was holding something back. She encouraged him to be honest with Liz about his true feelings. Not long after, Aiden, Lucky, and Lulu all agreed that Amy's vibrant energy was wearing them out. Lulu proposed a solution. Lucky should move in to help care for Elizabeth himself. At the surf lodge, Jocelyn was surprised when Emma joined her at a table. The two chatted casually about school until Jocelyn had to dash off to her environmental physics class. When they returned later, they bumped into Professor Dalton. He complimented Emma and her academic abilities, prompting Jocelyn to cut in and introduce herself, much to Emma's annoyance. Dalton turned his attention back to Emma, suggesting she consider applying for his summer research assistant program. Emma was thrilled by the recognition, but Jocelyn couldn't hide her concern. That assistantship was a key part of her DOSB assignment, and now it was slipping out of reach. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.